Hey guys, Ben with Big Stuff, and welcome back to another version 2.5 firmware update video. So today we're going to be talking about the ECU shutdown delay. So what this means is if there's any reason why you'd want the ECU to turn off on a delay, you can now do that with the system. So for example, remember the old turbo timers back in the day where you would turn off the ignition, but it would keep the engine running for X amount of time to let the turbo cool down. Example, you could have the ECU control the pink wire on the main engine harness, or if you have a custom wired setup, you could have an output control that pink wire or switch 12 volts going out to the main engine harness and sensors. So this way the engine will actually stay alive and running for X amount of time. I have other examples of where we have guys that have pumps they want to keep running. So if they turn off the ignition, they want a pump to stay running, maybe for an intercooler up underneath the engine. They want to circulate water through it, or they have a oil cooler. They want to circulate some water through it as well, or something for some reason during that process. It's basically for any reason whatsoever, you can have the ECU shut down on a delay. Okay. So to get to it, you're going to come over to the system section, ECU shutdown delay, and you're going to see here by default, it's going to be turned off. Okay. So now I'm going to enable it here. And now I'm going to have the ability to go up to either minutes and seconds or just one or the other. So for example, right now I have 60 seconds here, but maybe I just want to do 1 minute instead of 60 seconds. Okay. Or maybe I want to do 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay. So once I do that, I have two different options. I can leave it at that. So now whenever I turn off the ignition, okay, it's going to keep the ECU alive for 1 minute and 30 seconds, guaranteed every time, no matter what, okay? But I can also have it keep the engine running. So if I come over here, if I click enabled, okay, now it's going to actually keep the engine running based on configuring an output to control the pink wire on our main engine harness. So you have to remember that pink wire, our main engine harness, typically goes to a switch 12 volts. That pink wire sends 12 volts switched into the ECU and out to the main engine harness to provide all your power for all your sensors and everything. So basically, you're going to, if you want to keep the engine running on the switch 12 volt input wire to the ECU, that's now going to tie to an output on the ECU itself and directly in control of the pink wire on the main engine harness. So you're going to have technically two different switch 12 volts. Your standard switch 12 volts is going to feed the ECU. You will cut that same shared 12 volts that goes to your main engine harness, which is also a pink wire, and now the ECU will control that pink wire going to the main engine harness to keep everything running. If you do not do that, engine will just shut off basically right away, because you need to have the engine harness powered up so the engine can stay running. Okay, so there's a diagram on our website to show you how to wire that up in the Gen 4 tech section. Okay, we'll also put a link to it in the description here so you actually know how to wire it up to your combination. Now, if you enable this, you can also have it be enabled only with a custom port editor condition. So what that means is, if I enable that, okay, so now I'm going to say, listen, I only want this to actually work, okay, with current CPE conditions, okay? Because right now, without the CPE condition, it's just going to keep the engine running, and that's it. Well, maybe I don't actually want to have it running unless certain parameters are met. So if I come over here and turn this on, now I come over here, System, Custom Port Editor. Now I'm going to go to this Custom Ports Output 2, and this is going to be shown. The ECU shutdown is now going to light up. If you did not have this turned on, this will not be shown in the custom output ports. So now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click enabled. I'm going to have the active value be on. So basically what this means is that this mode, the output channels have to go true in order for the CP condition to be enabled or to be true. Okay, so let's just say, for example, I only want this to actually start unless the TPS, the throttle position sensor, okay, is less than 25%. Okay, TPS filter, I'm going to put a 5% hysteresis. So now, unless I am below 25% throttle and I turned off the ignition, then the shutdown delay will be allowed to actually trigger. If the TPS is greater than 25%, even if you turned off the ignition, it's not going to do it because the CP condition has not been met yet. So technically you turned off the ignition, but because you're over 25%, it's going to stay on. Okay. So now when I go less than 25%, we're now true. We are now true here with the CP condition. Now we're going to be able to enter this delay. So now we actually go on the 1 minute and 30-second delay because we've gone less than 25%. But we have some safeties in place here, okay? And what that means is that if I go over here to the threshold to enter ECU shutdown delay, unless you're below 5%, we're actually not even going to let this thing even try to shut down, because what if you by accident turned off the ignition and you actually wanted to keep the engine running? Well, that's what this means, okay? If you go over 5%, then it's going to keep the engine running. If you go less than 5%, I'm sorry, if you go less than 5% here, it will enter. If you go above 5%, it will exit, okay? So the TPS safeties are put in there as a safety. So obviously if something's happening, you actually have to run the engine for whatever reason, the switch 12 volts is turned off, it will still allow the ECU to run the engine as designed. So if the CP condition, to summarize, in this case is less than 25%, we're going to go true. Okay, that will allow the CP condition to be true. And then you will have to be less than 5%, which is adjustable, to then enter into the shutdown delay of 1 minute and 30 seconds. If you were to go above the 5%, it would go back online. Then as soon as you came back down, it would enter this timer again. Okay, because now you went above, now you went back down below the threshold to start again. So now it's going to be on this delay again for the 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay. So any questions about that? Please give us a shout at support@bigstufftpm.com. Don't forget to visit our website, www.bigstufftpm.com, or check out our socials on Facebook and Instagram. Give us a message there and we'll be happy to help you out. Thank you.